So, Darren, the last few Quest Wednesdays, we've been having sessions focusing on chapters from Brené Brown's newest book, Atlas of the Heart. And the session that we've got coming up is Places We Go When We're Hurting. Places We Go When We're Hurting. And I'm curious, what comes up for you when you reflect on that heading?
Oh God, I just think I just feel, yeah, I feel this is one of those areas that I've still got a lot of work to do. So I can feel a kind of heaviness when I just think about the whole word of hurting, what have you. And I think my reflections were three things. First of all, where I did go to a lot and I can go to very easy is disassociation. So when I'm faced with something which is hurtful or hurting for me, I just cut off. I just put it in a box and I pack it right down, um, as a way of avoiding kind of the experience. I think I'm frightened of being in a place of hurt. Um, and I think what I then do is become very philosophical, and distant. And on the outside, it just looks like I'm not bothered. It really looks like that. But I think deeper down, it's pushed down quite hard. I remember once I was in a relationship and it ended, and I was quite distressed. And I phoned a friend and said, "Oh, this relationship just ended." So we talked a little bit, and he said, "Oh, shall I come round you? What do you want to do? Do you want to go out?" And we ended up going out. We're in a nightclub, and halfway through the night, I remember him turning to me and saying, "You don't look very bothered. You look fine. You don't look very bothered at all." And I was in a nightclub and I was dancing, but I was carrying this intense hurt around it. So I think I've disguised hurt. And I think the other thing that Brenny talks about around hurt is this whole idea about hope. How sometimes when we're hurting, we can go to hope. And what I realized was, and I suppose this is a more positive part of my hurt, is when I was young and I knew I was gay and I was isolated and lonely, I think I got to a point of determination, like I'm hurting right now. And I used to cry a lot and I was distressed. And then I thought, I'm going to create the life I want. I became determined. And I think I've never let go of that determination. I can step outside of this hurt and I can make something happen. And I think that's why Brenny talks about the relationship between hopelessness and suicide. And I think that's why I've never really had the experience of feeling suicidal, because I've always made things happen. I've always been determined and felt I could create the life I wanted if the life I was having was distressing for me. So it's created a strength in me, a determination, but it also creates this kind of disassociation. So those are just a couple. I mean, there's so many, but it's such a heavy topic. I mean, that's kind of where I initially went to.
Yeah, I can relate to everything that you've shared actually. I can also go to that place of dissociation, which can also involve numbing as well, and this sense of collapse, just moving away from it. And then I can go to that place of hope, but very often it's a bypassing. It's a way of skipping over all the emotions of fear, despair, grief, anger, hopelessness, and go to this place of, oh, but it's gonna be okay. Um, the thing that comes to my mind is this notion of just pull yourself together, and keep moving on. Um, when you were talking about relationships just now, I remember a relationship that I had many moons ago, and it was in the final stages. And I remember being on the phone to a friend and saying, "I'm trying to be brave. I'm trying to be brave and be all together." But yeah, just like constricted so much actually. And so that's the place that I can go to. I can go to this place of tightness. So tightness and hope kind of dance with each other. And then the other thing that comes up for me is grief. And I suspect because I spent a really, really long time skipping over those hurts that happened, it's almost like I'm now living it backwards, where there's a lot of grief that's coming up because I'm remembering all the emotions that I never really felt when those situations were happening. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really powerful exploration with the gay bi queer men who are going to be joining us for this exploration.
Yeah, a really important conversation, and knowing what some of the members that come regularly are like, I think it'll be really rich and really honest conversation as well. So I'm looking forward to the richness of the conversation.
Yeah.